Alright, how you doing, folks? Rich Van Tassel with you, giving you the Celtics report. Sorry it's coming late. We had some uploading problems with the NBA report. The Celtics improved to 35-19 with a win last night over the Utah Jazz, one of the more impressive victories of the season. They shot 59% for the night, which was very good. They were also over 40%, over 43% actually from behind the arc at 13 for 30. Their three-point shooting is really coming along. That's something that's frankly going to enable them to be very dangerous in the playoffs. But it also is something that would enable you to be running into some trouble in the playoffs, because if your three-point shooting goes, then you have a problem. But if you're hot, you can go far. So that's something to keep an eye on. But for the most part, their three-point shooting has been good throughout the season. But they love to shoot the three, and you're going to have to make them when you shoot as many as they do. Of course, 29 points for Isaiah Thomas. He continues to impress. They were out-rebounded last night by 2, and they did shoot a lot better than the Utah Jazz, so there were a lot more rebounds available for the Celtics. Watching the game, though, I still think the Celtics are looking a lot better as far as the rebounding. Just, schematically, they're getting bodies on guys, they're moving to the ball, things of that nature. Sometimes they still give up rebounds you don't like to see, offensive rebounds, but all in all, I think the rebounding has improved. Also, they're getting a lot of turnovers as well that allows them to get out and run. They gave the ball up 16 times yesterday. They only had 9 turns. They only took the ball away 9 times. But overall, that was one thing I saw, is that they took the turnovers and were able to move them into points last night. That's something they should frankly be very good at, because they have guys like Marcus Smart. Of course, Avery Bradley's been out. Jay Crowder missed last night. But, Rozier is certainly capable of it. Jaylen Brown is a guy who can finish the other way. So certainly those are things to look at moving forward, ways to get points that would benefit them in the playoffs, making threes and getting easy buckets in transition. So we'll keep our eye on that the rest of the way. Gerald Green had another good game last night. He had a good game earlier in the year. Off the bench, he was very hot. Also played pretty well against Portland, which they had the victory again over on Thursday night. James Young came in and got minutes. Kelly Olynyk also had a very good game last night. He's a guy who I really think has been improving, and he's certainly suspect defensively, but what he can give you on the offensive side of the ball is certainly very critical to what this team is doing moving forward. He can stretch the floor. He can finish in transition. He had a nice finish at the end of the night, but you look at it over his last 5 games, he's averaging over 12, shooting almost 38% from downtown, which is very good, and over 55% from the floor. His last 10 games, over 11 points, shooting 60% from the floor. So he's getting the job done, giving you about 20 minutes, and I'd like to see Kelly Olynyk continue to improve, because I think he can be a big difference maker for the Celtics, because, bench production for any team is critical, but especially for the Celtics, because you rely a lot on Isaiah Thomas doing a bulk of the offense, being basically a one-man show on the offensive side of the ball for the first unit. That you need guys who can come in and do things like that, because you can't rely on team play. As good as the Celtics do it, it becomes very difficult moving forward in the playoffs, because that's what the Celtics are looking at moving forward. Of course, Avery Bradley, will have to see what is going to continue going on with him. He's missed a lot of games, so we'll see what happens from that point forward. But as far as anything else that happened, sorry, there was a little commotion downstairs that brought me from that. But as far as Avery Bradley, could this be a potential trade? We'll have to see, considering how well they've been playing with him, or without him, that is. Having Jaylen Brown in the lineup, Marcus Smart continues to get better. I love Marcus Smart's decision making. So let's see what happens with that. But all in all, the Celtics looking good. They did have that loss against the Sacramento Kings, but they responded nicely, coming back against Portland the next night. Second night of a back-to-back going out west. So they're not 2-1 on that West Coast trip. They have a game to, Monday night? They're going to Dallas. Yeah, tomorrow, Monday the 13th, they will be in Dallas to close out this 4-game road stag. Could go 3-1, which would be very nice. Then Philadelphia back home, and then Chicago on the road before the All-Star break. So certainly very winnable games moving forward into the All-Star break. Let's see what will happen with that. it'd be nice to not go in on a slide, especially against very beatable teams. So let's keep an eye on the Celtics. All in all, though, their 3-point shooting is coming along. All this team is just playing at a high pace right now. I put them at 4th in my power rankings. Certainly trying to keep up with the Cleveland Cavaliers, but I think it's very important. They're going to have a good season. They're going to make the playoffs. They're going to be a high seed. I think if they want to have any hope of catching the Cavaliers, they have to continue into the All-Star break strong against these winnable games. I don't think they'll plummet for it. Even if, say, they lose these 3 games, it gets really bad going into the All-Star break. I still think they'd be 2nd or 3rd seed either way. I don't think they're going to drop out of that. But if they want to have any hope of catching the Cavaliers, it's important to take advantage of these next 3 games going into the All-Star break with some serious momentum. All right, so I don't know how we'll do the Celtics report next week because of the All-Star break coming up, but be sure to stay tuned. We'll keep you posted moving forward. Thanks so much. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.